Rumor has it the DJI Mavic 2 is on the way, and if you watch this video in the far off future, maybe that has in fact come to pass. But in this video, I'm going to try to convince you that perhaps buying the older technology, as in the DJI Mavic Pro, might be a better option for you. Allow me to explain. See, I had a half-hour discussion over the phone recently with a fellow drone pilot, Hamish, about what drone I should get next. I lost my DJI Spark in the mountains of rural China recently. It decided to fly away on me with no real explanation why. We talked about several factors, but the one that hit home the hardest was one that was all too familiar with having recently lost the Spark. Can you live with losing that money if it falls out of the sky? In other words, what he meant was, if it crashes and breaks and gets lost and gets wet and or disappears, can you live with that financial loss? Can you afford to replace it? It's seriously something to consider, because as a new or first time or even a fly sometimes occasionally drone pilot, you may not have had to deal with the heartbreak of losing one and having to pay to replace it. And from a financial point of view, it may make more sense for you to buy an older, cheaper drone. More on that later. In my case, I lost a DJI Spark. Side note, the following prices are in New Zealand dollars but also converted to US dollars. It was $1,300 when I bought it, and that was the Fly More combo, which gives you the controller and an extra battery. The Spark is kind of unique because it's more of an entry-level drone. You can buy it without the controller and charger, the idea being you can later buy those things if you want, if you buy just the basic Spark package. Or in my case, you can replace just the Spark itself if you lose it. Meaning, of course, after losing it, I still have the controller, charger, carrying case, and spare batteries. I do plan to replace the lost Spark eventually, but since I bought a Mavic Pro, I'll wait until the Spark becomes a little cheaper. In today's New Zealand dollars, a replacement Spark costs around $550 for a refurbished model, or around $700 for a new one. I'm not rich, but I'm not poor either. I have enough disposable income to replace this drone if I choose to. Before losing my Spark, I was looking to upgrade to the Mavic Pro anyway. But long story short, the Mavic Pro does several things better than the Spark. It has a 4K camera rather than 1080p, a 3-axis gimbal rather than a 2-axis gimbal, and 25-minute flight time rather than 15-minute. Those times are approximate. And a much longer flight distance based on whether you're using CE or FCC. In losing the Spark, all that really did was accelerate my plan to get a Mavic Pro. I also consider the Mavic Pro Platinum. The Platinum has the low noise propellers and slightly better motors. But after watching some review videos on it, I decided that the extra price that they want for the Platinum, I think it's not worth the extra money. Especially considering that I can fit those new low noise propellers onto the Mavic Pro for only $40. Then along came this, the most recent announcement teaser to see the bigger picture, with an event teased by DJI for July the 18th. At the time I record this video, this date has been postponed. I guess they had some technical issues with whatever new product they have, so they may have had to take whatever expensive and corrective action was necessary to fix the problem. But once that image came out, the rumor mill got in full gear and there was a lot of speculation, and possibly leaks, about the new product. All signs point to the Mavic 2, with the following specifications. Note that these specifications include a likely $1,300 US price tag. That's a little bit more than I'm really willing to spend on a drone. And here's where again we have to consider price. And more importantly, how much can you afford to lose? Again, I must reiterate, I must hit this point home. One day you will lose your drone. It's a statistical certainty. Flying your drone is like driving your car and speeding everywhere you go. When you speed, sooner or later you're going to get pulled over and get a ticket, or a speed camera fine is going to come in the mail. You just know that eventually it'll happen. It's a certainty. With flying a drone, something bad is going to happen eventually. It's not a question of if, it's when. And despite what some people would like you to believe, no drone is crash proof. Now don't get me wrong, some drone manufacturers put in a lot of amazing features to prevent the loss of your drone, or crashing. Things such as removable propeller guards to guard the propellers in an impact. Return to home feature, so when the drone loses connection with the remote control, it comes back to the home point and lands. Obstacle avoidance. Most modern drones have forward and downward facing sensors, and the drone will stop when it senses an obstacle. Some drones like the Mavic Air will also navigate around the obstacles. Low battery warning. When the battery reaches a low level, the drone will automatically land or fly to the home point and land. But all the features in the world can't save you from the unexpected. Here are some examples of the unexpected. Bird strike. If you've flown at the beach before, you will know that seagulls have an uneasy attraction to your drone. Eventually, you're going to hit them, or they're going to hit you. They just seem to love flying around your drone. Strong winds. Again, something that can happen at beaches, but really anywhere there is strong wind. A strong wind can push your drone laterally, which can lead to you losing control of it and having it crash into an obstacle. This, in fact, nearly happened to me once with my Spark. A strong wind nearly crashed my Spark into a cliff when I was flying at the beach. And of course, user error. Common when you're flying sideways, you're strafing, or flying backwards. Many drones lack sensors to the sides and to the rear, so if you're not aware of what's around your drone, you can easily fly it into an obstacle and crash. And if any of your crashes happen over water, you'll either waterlog the drone, which will wreck the electronics, or you may never recover it at all. Well, you may be thinking to yourself that none of this will happen to me. I won't fly near obstacles, I won't fly over water. Well, sometimes that's easier said than done. As drones become more advanced in their technology and easy to use, affordable and prolific, more people than ever are flying them, which means that more and more other people are getting annoyed by them or scared of them. The consequence of this is that most governments and district councils around the world are passing overly restrictive drone regulations which effectively make everywhere but the ocean a no-fly zone. Of course, this depends on where in the world you live, but here are some examples. You want to fly near an airport? Forget it. Nobody's going to let you fly near airplanes. These are safety concerns. You want to fly over somebody's private property? Well, you can forget about that too. People are concerned about privacy. You want to fly in a national park? Forget it. The councils either want to charge you for it or ban you for tourism reasons. They don't want tourists to be annoyed by your drone buzzing around. Hell, do you want to fly just in your local park or in your own backyard? Well, the chances are the local council has some bylaw that's got that covered too. All these logistical and legal limitations mean that sometimes you'll be flying a drone in less than optimal flying conditions, which means, as I said before, it's only a matter of time before you crash. And when you crash, can you afford to replace your drone? Are you going to want to replace it? Losing a drone is a bit like losing a bet in a bad hand of blackjack at your local casino. Big money gone in the blink of an eye. In summary, no drone is crash-proof. You can buy a drone with features, but there are still unexpected factors involved. And due to logistical and legal limitations, you may not be flying in the places and ways that you would like to. So before you buy a drone, consider the wise words of Hamish. Can you live with losing that money if it falls out of the sky? Thanks for watching. Check out my drone playlist. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe to see more videos like the one you just saw. See you later.